You're welcome to the studios of PIWC Michelle Camp, and we are grateful to God for the gift of life this morning. Throughout the week, we've had our daily morning devotions, and today being a Saturday, we are introducing you to a different segment to our daily morning services, which is investment and banking. This morning, we have with us here an elder of the Church of Pentecost PIWC Michelle Camp, by name Elder Kwabena Boamah. Elder, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ruth.
I hope the family is doing well.
We are, by God's grace.
We are grateful to God for that. Investment. Please, what is investment?
When we say investment, we're basically looking at either time or resources put into something that will yield you a benefit or a return over a period of time. If we look at Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, the first part, it says that as long as the world exists, there will always be a time for sowing or a time for planting and a time for harvesting. That technically defines what investment is: sowing or planting and then waiting to reap the benefit or the harvest in the future. And that's what investment is.
Wow. Okay, so are there types of investments, if I may ask?
Definitely there are. So if you look at the context in which I define investment, people will be wondering, where is the money part of it? But investment, we can broadly divide it into two: the part that has monetary benefits, and then the part that does not have necessarily a direct monetary benefit, but it also yields you a reward. For example, education. Students spend time studying or learning. That is a form of investment. And when they do well, after 4 years or 3 years, BEC, you get your pass and then you're able to continue your education, and that's the reward. Then we have the financial aspect, and there are quite a number of them. Broadly, we will say traditional financial investment and then non-traditional financial investment. The traditional ones are what we call shares, we have bonds, and then we have what we call unit trust. These are all forms of investments. And then we also have what we call the non-traditional, like real estate investment or property investment, and then we have some called them private equity investments.
That's great. So can you take us through each of these ones that you've mentioned? So we'll start with the fixed deposits.
Right. So the fixed deposit comes or is in a family of what we call fixed income instruments. Now, the fixed deposits are nothing but they are papers that a bank would give somebody for keeping money with them over a period of time. So depending on the time in which you are keeping the money with the bank, they give a term for it or a name for it. So we can have what we call 90-day fixed deposit, which means that you gave your money to the bank for 90 days. After 90 days, they'll pay you back the money plus interest. Sometimes it's a 180-day or a 1 month fixed deposit. So depending on the time, they give a name for the fixed deposit. So that's a fixed deposit. Then we also have what we call the treasuries or treasury bills. Now, anytime you hear treasury in our language or in the finance language, it has to do with the government. It means that the government borrows from you and then pays you back the money plus interest. Now, depending on how long the government borrows from you, there's a name that we give to it, like the fixed deposit. So if the government borrows for 91 days, we'll say it's a 91-day treasury bill. If the government borrows for 6 months, we call it 182-day treasury bill. Then if the government borrows for a year, we call it 1 year note. If the government borrows for more than 3 years, we usually call it bonds. So we have the 3-year bond, 5-year bond, 7-year bond. We even have the 20-year bond. That means that the government has borrowed, and after 20 years, they'll pay you back the principal. However, when it comes to the bonds, every 6 months, the fixed bonds, they give you half of the interest, and then on maturity, they pay you everything. So that's the treasury bills and then the fixed deposit. I guess the other ones you want me to share as well.
Yeah, so the real estate, I would like you to.
Okay, so when we talk about real estate investment, mainly looking at property investment, you will have people who will build one bedroom apartment or one bedroom self-contained, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and the main objective of doing that is to rent it out and make money out of it. Some also build and then sell so that they make some capital gains from the investment that they have done or the work that they have done. So that's real estate investment. Now there's another form of it where you don't actually go into the building yourself. But what happens is that there are funds where you put your money in, and all the fund does is buy properties around. And then when they get rentals at the end of the year, they pay you what we call dividends out of the investments. So that's real estate investment. There are other forms of it which we call the commercial, where they buy, for example, Accra Mall. It could be a form of investment. So there are people who actually put money together to build or develop the Accra Mall, and they benefit from the rent that the shop owners pay on these malls. So we have a commercial aspect which deals with things like the mall. We also have the warehousing where they store goods, and then we also have the residential, which are made up of apartments or 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom houses.
Okay, that is great. We hear people say insurance. So is insurance also an investment?
That's an interesting one. So it's a yes and no. In finance now, there's more of blend in terms of what we do, and we're increasingly putting things together to offer than in the past when we have one straight jacket transaction. So insurance, there are two different types. We have the life insurance, and then we have the general business. The general business has to do with your insuring your car or insuring your property, your house. But the life one, it's about plans that has to do with you paying a premium, and then 10 years or 20 years, depending on what you want to do, you can get the maturity from that. Usually those life plans have an aspect of it which is into investments. So after a number of years, you can actually cash out of that life policy. If the life policy has an investment aspect to it, then yes, we'll classify it as an investment. But insurance in itself is not necessarily an investment, because you may pay premiums and never get any benefit from it. But of course, if the unexpected happens, you will reap the benefit of insurance. But we won't classify insurance per se as an investment, except probably for the life policy.
Okay. So some will say that they save in the bank, and at the end of the month, the bank gives them an interest on their savings. So can we say that savings is a form of investment?
Right. So yes, savings is a form of investment. However, when it comes to savings, it's actually at the bottom end of investments. So typically when we go advising people to invest, we won't say put your money in savings. But savings, yes, is a form of a start. Mainly because the interest on your savings account will not be that significant compared to what you will probably get on a Government of Ghana Treasury bill, which is supposed to be a risk-free investment, where you are sure that if it's the government, he takes your money, he will pay you back plus interest. So savings, yes, it qualifies in the terms of the definition of what investment is, but in terms of active investment, we wouldn't say savings is. So if you think that you are investing your money, we don't expect you to be saving it. We rather expect you to be putting into treasury bills or shares or bonds.
Okay. We want you to tell us the difference between savings and investment.
Right. So savings is a subset of investment. As I mentioned earlier, when we talk about savings, that's when you put resources or time into something, and then after a period, you get a benefit. So in the same way, savings, you put your money at the bank, You can go for it after 3 days, after a month, after 1 year, and they will give you some interest. So there's a benefit out of it. So yes, savings will qualify as investments. However, in active investment, we don't add savings because we'll say savings is a lazy man's job. Rather put your money into Government of Ghana Treasury bills or into bonds or fixed deposit, which will earn you higher than the savings account. So savings, I would say, is a means to investing, but won't be your end game when it comes to investments.
Okay, so what you're trying to tell us is you save the money for a period of time, then you invest the money?
Yes, literally, that's what it is.
Okay, that's great. We're grateful for having you this morning, and we thank you for throwing more light on investment. Okay, we are grateful to you for staying with us throughout this whole segment. If you have any questions for our resource person, his number is on the screen. You can pick the number and call him so you can ask all your questions and he'll be ready to answer them. We'll be back here next week, the same time, for this segment. Stay tuned. God bless you. Caris.
Fellow Ghanaians, I, Rebecca Kufuor, the First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, have observed with great concern the ongoing pandemic of COVID-19 and the confirmation of cases in Ghana. I would like to use this opportunity to re-emphasize the various preventive measures recommended by the Ministry of Health and urge everyone to take care of their health and that of their families by adhering to the following precautionary measures. Regular and thorough washing of hands with soap and running water and use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Avoid shaking hands. Cover the mouth and nose with tissue when coughing or sneezing and dispose of the tissue immediately. Keep a distance of at least 2 meters away from a person with fever, cough, sneezing and difficulty in breathing. It is advisable to be physically active, drink plenty of water, eat healthy, avoid stress, and have enough sleep. Stay home if you feel unwell with symptoms of fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing, and call the following numbers immediately: 050-949-7700 and 055-843-9868. Thank you.